absolutely. Oh,
What I
Scott
do,
Gumbar is on. How are you, Scott?
come
Yeah,
and do,
we are
come
totally
join us, Scott, if
recommending.
you want.
Do you know Scott Gumbar, Greg?
I don't think I do. I'm getting to know people. What's funny about Blab is I've met so many nice people on here. I've tried other video sites. There's one in particular which I don't go on anymore, which was Omegle for obvious reasons. That it's used now for all for the wrong reasons. But this is fantastic because you get to meet people. And I was in a Blab the other evening talking about marketing, and I learned about some new sites I'd never heard of where people go on to do video training. And so I decided in the end to go and have a look, and I'm going to be setting up a few bits and pieces myself, a few videos that I've created in training people how to build a website. And so I'm going to upload that and see how it goes. And people make money out of this, and I've known about these sites, So it's great because we get to talk, and one of my ideas for this is to actually start doing a regular weekly radio show. The idea is I'm going to blab to people with a subject, get their views, take the recordings and edit it into my radio show, and then it'd be the Burntwelly Blab. So that's the plan behind it, you see. But I'd love your view. What uses have you found for Blab at the moment?
It's interesting. So Small Business USA, we help small business owners with their business, all aspects, very well-rounded. So I love it for a multitude of different reasons. But we do, what Scott Gumbar was referring to was we do an Ask the Expert call, which is like our version of a podcast every Tuesday at 10 U.S. New York time. And we're actually switching today to Blab because I love this so much better. And you can convert it to an MP3. You can still watch it as a video so people kind of get to see who we are and what we're all about. And I just think it's so much more real. But, I met a woman yesterday, fascinating story. Her business started less than a month ago, and she has only done Periscope and Blab. Before that, she had zero business. She started 7 to 8 broadcasts a day in Periscope and Blab. And already she has a full client list. And she's doing a lot of marketing of software and, a program that she's selling. It's unbelievable. But I think you get that know, like, and trust factor right away, right, Greg? I mean, it just...
Oh, absolutely. It's fantastic. I was going to ask you, give us your website address and put it in the text as well, because I'm happy to promote you.
Oh, thanks
guys.
So much. It's smallbusinessus.com, and it's fun. We have a marketing program that we combine with some one-on-one coaching and peer advisory boards, if you know what those are. But it's a very affordable way to really help business owners bring their game to the next level, but not feel like...
You find in your line of work that there are some companies out there that want an awful lot of money to help small businesses.
Well,
and there's companies like yours, because I've got the impression from you already, from talking to you, that you're there. Yes, you are there to make money. Everyone is, but you're not there to make so much money out of a small business. Then the small business doesn't become viable.
Yeah. I grew up in a small business that failed, Greg. Like, my mom was not super, but she had 20 to 30 employees throughout growing up and was relatively successful, and then got sick and lost everything. And, our business, we put a lot of research and time and energy into creating it. But for me, it was like my mom would never have spent, right now for what we offer, you couldn't even get a quarter of it for about $800 a month, US dollars, which is, what is that now in Europe? Like 1,200?
Something like that. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. It's probably 600 euros, right? But we charge $250 a month because for me, it's more about giving the tools to small business owners. And by leveraging our community, we can do it by keeping it affordable and still deliver a quality product. But, every month, it's funny that you said that. Every month at my board meeting, we have investors that try to pop in every once in a while because what we're doing is pretty cool. But every month at my board meeting, I'm like, no, my mother, my sister would never have paid for this. We've got to keep it affordable. So it's really, really important.
And at $250, if I was a business in America, because I'm a great believer in paying for value. I think one day Blab will bring out some services that people will pay for to support Blab, and I'll happily pay. And I think when you charge that's a sensible price for what you do. And if a business can't make money off the back of it with your help, then that person shouldn't be running a business. It's plain and simple, isn't it?
Yeah, it's thank you for saying that. But yeah, we're really excited about our results. We haven't had anybody who hasn't found it worth their while and more than pay back with their membership costs. But it's more about, what it's like to be a business owner, right? I mean, you're an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
You're by yourself. Every decision you make is up to you. And, you don't always get honest feedback because people want you to refer people to them, right? So they're not going to say, hey, Colleen, you look terrible on camera. You shouldn't be doing blabs. They're going to say, oh, Colleen, what you do is so wonderful. Can you refer someone to me? And I think business owners need that real honest, like a peer advisory board or a board of directors. It's going to say, listen, let's get you in your space where you can really make money and stop wasting your time. And yeah, that's a great idea, but it's not the right idea for you.
You like my little logo below me?
Yes. How did you get that?
I use a site called Manycam. It's manycam.com. Do a search for it. There's a free version and paid version. The paid version, you can get green screen material put behind you and make you look like you're in a fantastic office space and stuff like that. I only ever use it when I'm at home, as you can tell, in the kitchen. But I use this just to let people know where I am and what I'm doing. I also have another site which I'm in the middle of revamping, the Burntwellyshow.co.uk. And that's my radio page. I've been out of radio for a good year, and I'm back in it now. And I'm doing things like this. I'll be, if it's okay, I'll add this to my YouTube channel, and I'll happily promote you guys. Because the thing is, I've got followers all over the world, so someone will probably see this. And the nice thing about it is we're seeing your face. Right. Yeah. And what annoys me about these corporate companies, I did a video today about Sky TV in the UK, phoned their customer services up, got through. The guy said, I'll put you through to someone else, cut me off. So I phoned back, got through to the tech support guy, said, I've got to have a word with my manager, I'll put you on hold, and eventually they cut me off again. So I sent an email to the CEO, because I've got his email address, put a complaint into him. This is a little tip for you. If you ever want to get hold of a company CEO's person's name, Google CEO for that company. Once you've got the person's name, type it in and put email address after it again in Google, and 99% of the time their email address will come up. Then you can email the head of that company, go, I'm unhappy, had enough, and then wait for a response, which is what I'm doing today. But in the meantime, on the Sky Facebook page, I've gone and put a video up complaining about them, and I posted it on their Facebook page. And it's the way forward. But the nice thing about what you're doing is people get to meet you and they get to see your face. They see a person. With a big corporate company, you don't see anyone. It's not personal. They don't seem to care.
Yeah, we're doing a call in a few minutes, and we do these every Tuesday. It's called an Ask the Expert call. But I am so excited. The call today is how to close a sale every time. We have this woman who's a dynamo, and I'm just so excited to have her on there. She's just beautiful inside and out. She's just got that gift. But it's so fun to share that like on a phone or a podcast anyway. But I think in this forum, I'm really excited. This is our first time doing it in Blab. I'm really excited to have our members and our viewers and followers to be able to see her. I think it makes a difference. What is Burntwellyshow? Tell me about the name.
I say that I like to interact with people, and Scott quite rightfully put down there's a push in the social media world to get more CEOs on social media just for that reason. I fully agree with Scott. We need that. The Burntwellyshow came about some years ago in the UK. There's a guy called Chris Morris who used to do a show called Known Cure on the BBC, and I love the name. Right? And I wanted to have a wacky radio show name. And one Guy Fawkes night, I was out and about with some people, and we went down to see a bonfire, and there's this melting welly. And I just went Burntwellyshow. So I came up with that name in the UK. Quite a lot of people know of it. I've been across a number of radio stations doing the show. And I used to do more of a wacky show with jingles and a feature called Granny's Gripe, where a granny used to go on there and whinge about stuff. And best of all, I've done some great interviews. I've interviewed Neil Sedaka. He was fantastic to me. I got told I only had 20 minutes with him, right? End up being a 1 hour and 20-minute call because he was loving it so much.
That is awesome.
Yeah, in the UK, I've interviewed, if you do a Google search for this, Paul Downes and Debbie McGee were big magicians on the BBC and back in the 80s. And I've interviewed them. I've got a comedian called Mark Thomas in the UK. So I'm always talking to people, and I'm hoping to, when they see this, that eventually they'll come back to me and go, we want to blab with you. And I love the fact on Blab you can lock the seats down. So if I've got someone famous on here and I don't want people coming in on the video chat, I can lock the seats once the person's in. But then people can interact with messages. And everyone knows with this, it's live. You know, you and I talking together, you can't fake it. Do you know what I mean?
This is true. I can't fake the fact that there's a landscaper out my window right now either. I hope you don't hear that.
Yeah, what? Sorry?
I can't fake the fact that there's a landscaper right outside my window.
I can't hear that.
Oh my God.
I've got my daughter laughing in the background, and that makes it even more fun because my kids are here, and but I've got my own little studio in a room in the garden, and I'll go out there. But in the day when bless her, she wants to go out, so I went, yeah, go out. And I thought for an hour, pop on Blab. And it doesn't worry me with the kids running around. It makes it more personal, and everyone has a bit of fun having a bit of blab about what you can use Blab for. And I love what you're using it for as well.
Well, it's fun to be able to help. It's fun to be able to help our members by teaching them how to use it too. So I love, if anybody's on the call, make sure that you can use that little icon at the top to follow Greg, and I'm going to do that right now. And make sure that you also applaud and give some props to Greg, because that's what that little applause hand is for. So I assume with the title called Blab, there's a lot of newbies out there. Is anybody new on this?
What people don't realize as well is your face is a mirror image, right? So if I point that way, on my screen, I'm pointing to you, right?
Right.
But really, you should point the other way. It's only left to right. So right now, I'm pointing to you, right?
Right.
But I'm actually pointing the opposite direction on my camera. So if that makes sense.
Okay, so am I pointing at you now?
No. So now point the other way. No, point the other. Now you're pointing. Yeah, seriously. Yeah,
hey, I need to go get ready for my call. Somebody's got to take my seat.
Get Manycam and put some text up, and you'll see it's back to front. It's a mirror. Absolutely doing that. The other way.
Scott Gumbard, join and take my seat, because you are an expert on Blab, and I'm not letting you off the hook. I have to go start my Blab. And,
enjoy your Blab, and make sure if you can paste in your Blab on mine, because I'll happily send people over to you. So
wonderful.
If you can keep this open for a couple more minutes, open your Blab and then put the link in.
All right. I don't know if I'm good enough to do that, but I will try.
The top, your web browser, you've got the full address.
All right. Let me see. I'm going to give that a shot. But
just copy and paste the full. Once you've got your Blab open, copy the full address at the top from in your address bar, and then paste it into the text on the Blab.
I can do that.
Yeah,
I will. So thank you so much. I'm going to jump off the screen.
That's all right. See, it's like I can do that. I can do that right now with my own Blab. You see, like that. Look.
Yeah, I'm gonna figure that out.
Is that yours that Scott's put up?
Oh, Scott put it up. Thank you so much, Scott. You are my hero. Yeah. Thank you, Scott.
Pleasure talking to you. It's a pleasure. With me, and I'm sure we'll blab again.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. Bye, everyone.
Bye for now. If anyone else wants to jump in, please do, because this is just great fun talking about Blab and what we can use it for. That was an amazing Blab, that was, and I'm also going to get this book up on YouTube at some point. So if someone wants to jump in on the open seat, I am waiting. I've got a cuppa here. I'm drinking my cuppa. So do come in and tell me what you use Blab for, because I've learnt so much since I've been on Blab. So Scott says, would normally, Greg, I see, exercising clean speak. Yeah, I might be going there myself in a minute, to be honest. because it does look really good. So I'll give it a couple more minutes. If someone wants to jump in, they can. If not, I am going to go over. You'll see Scott's pasted a link on there. So in a minute, if you want to jump in and tell me what you use Blab for, or if no one jumps in, then I'm gonna jump over to the link that Scott's put in, because the small business Blab is going to look very, very interesting, I reckon. And I can't recommend it highly enough. So I'll give you another minute to jump in on the open seat. If not, I'm going to go over and watch the Blab that Scott's just pasted up in there, because it sounds really good. Here we go. Someone's jumping in just in time. Let's go and see who. Hopefully you'll come up. Hello.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Are you getting used to Blab? Are you just going to go get your headphones in?
I'm still trying to get connected here. I love the title of your Blab, Greg.
Oh, thank you.
Best uses for Blab. And there, that's a little better. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. And
okay, good.
The only reason I normally wear headphones myself, the only reason I've got you on slightly on speakers is because I've got a friend here who's watching me do a Blab, because he's interested in it as well.
Hi, how you doing? All right.
This is my friend DJ Ease.
Hi, how you doing?
Hey.
Tell me, are you new to Blab, or do you use it regularly?
Yes, I'm new to Blab, probably a little over a week, and
yeah,
I'm actually going to be hosting my first Blab in about an hour or so.
Wow.
And I am been lurking. I've jumped into open seats and things like that in the 9 days that I've been in, and I've met some incredible people. But one thing I can say about Blab is it's an awesome community, and people have been really friendly, really kind. The first couple of days when I was just learning how to use it, I put up, "This is a test. Don't join," and then like 10 people joined to help me.
Have you realised on the Blab when you select your subject, there's a box marked Test Blab?
Yes.
And you can select that. A lot of people won't find you because Test Blab doesn't put it on the front page.
I didn't see that.
So if you only select that one Test Blab box, people can still find you, but it doesn't put, like at the moment, my Blab is on the front page because I've selected a few categories for it to go with, you see. And I was just saying earlier, people don't realise, if I point to you on my camera right now, I'm not pointing at you, am I?
No.
But on my camera, I am. But if I point the other way, I'm now pointing at you. What you see is a mirror image, yeah?
Exactly.
So my Greg sign there is back to front at the moment, but up is up and down is down. It's just a mirror image, and people don't realise. So when they're blabbing, they say I'm going to point to you. They're not.
Exactly.
It's a bizarre thing, really, because I'm surprised. That's it. You're pointing at me now. So no, not now, but now. Yeah. You are now pointing at me. If you want to point down in that corner, you go this way. You see, when you want to point someone down in the corner there, and someone straight down, it's just straight down.
Got it. So that's handy.
I use a program called Manycam to put up the text there. You can see. So if you have a website, it's quite useful. But if you put Manycam on yourself and you add this text, and then do it in a test zone, you'll actually see it back to front as well.
So how did you put the text on there?
It's a program called Manycam, M-A-N-Y Cam, and I think it's .com on the end. I can find you a link at the moment.
Yeah, I've heard about that from people. I checked out the website.
It works on Mac and PCs. I'll just drop the link in now so that people can have a look if they want. It's a good little program. If you pay for the paid version, you can buy some green screen material and put it behind you, and you can like make yourself look like you're in a big TV studio, apparently. So even though I'm quite happy. This is really my kitchen, by the way. It's not green screen. So, but tell me, what's your Blab going to be about that you're doing in about an hour?
I'm going to do a daily show Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
It's called Women Inspiring Women, but men are invited. But we're going to be focusing on women's issues. I'll be interviewing successful women who want to share what's up with them. So it's sort of an inspirational show. I think a lot of us are moving out of Google Hangouts. I have a weekly show
Yeah.
now, for my audience, and that's been very successful. So I've been thinking about doing a podcast, and I thought, well, here with Blab, I can sort of kill two birds with one stone, even though that's a terrible saying, but true. On Blab now, you can just take your recording and put it up on your podcast. You don't have to do, all these different things.
It is good.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And I like the fact you can lock the seats down. So, for an example, if you're doing a Blab and you only want two of you in, you can lock the seats down, hit the lock seat button, and it's just you two that are in there. And
Right.
and I love that as well, which is exciting. In my case on this Blab, I'm always happy to invite people in on the open seats. All I ask is that we take it in turns in talking, because when 12 people are talking at the same time, it becomes pretty impossible to know what we're talking about. So
Sure.
do you have a website?
Sure, it's boldlybrilliant.com. I'll put it in here.
Yeah, pop it in the text. And what I do with my Blabs after is I upload them to YouTube for other people to view, and so other people get to see meet other businesses like yourself. And what's great is the fact that we sort of share in website addresses, and I enjoy helping to promote people as well. So it's quite exciting, really.
Yes, and this show today that I'm doing is the same. It's come in and just take 5 minutes and tell us about your business, and want to learn more about people and what they're doing.
Yeah.
So I agree. Now, are you doing a weekly show, daily show, Greg?
Well, I'm planning on doing a weekly show, and possibly if it goes well. At the moment, what I've been doing is when I've got spare time, I hop on Blab and I just put up a subject, record the whole setup, and then do a quick edit of the gaps, and I'm going to stick it up on YouTube for the moment, and let other people get to see this. That's what it's about, and build it up from there. So I've got followers not just in the UK but all over the world, which is fantastic. This new platform, I think, is going to be the next big thing. I can see in the future a company buying Blab out. But I sincerely hope if it's one of the big ones like Facebook or Twitter themselves, that they don't ruin it. Because when companies buy sites, they end up ruining it. And then I can't remember what it was. There was a TV program I saw about a site that a company bought, ruined it so badly. I think it's some kids site that they could go on, that now it's not worth anything. And the original guy who made millions out of it is planning on buying it back and rebuilding it. So, as I say, don't mend what's not broken, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, is YouTube your main go-to marketing venue?
Yeah, I use this for I have two areas. Smart Blogger is a site which I've started building, which you can see on the address bar there, and that's just started up, and I recommend some products on there to people to go and have a look at, and I sort of promote products I think are reliable and good. But I also have, which I'm in the middle of rebuilding, the Burntwellyshow.co.uk, and when that's rebuilt, I'm going to actually change Smart Blogger to the Burntwelly Show, because my idea with this is to use this to interview people, chat to them about the businesses, talk about Blab, and to sort of help other people get to know other people. That's what this is all about, people meeting people.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the greatest thing I think about this Blab community, is that you really are meeting some really incredible people from all over the world. It's just fascinating.
I was on a Blab the other night, and I learned so much from it. It was all about marketing, and they're talking about other sites you can use. I made a list of sites, because I've also done some videos about how to build websites, but I've never done anything with them. And now I can actually upload them and make a little bit of money out of them, which is great. So you have to excuse me. I've got my daughter behind me in the background. So, but yeah. So I'm going to wish you all the best for your Blab in about an hour. And you're going to I assume you're going to appear on the front page. Remind us what your Blab's called again.
Women Inspiring Women, and you can find me at Bold Brilliant. You just have to go to On Air, and I'm doing it at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern time. So
fantastic. Yeah. And you're going to arrange this to go on?
Can you hear me okay? Because
you're a little bit on the quiet side.
Oh,
you
really?
might.
I just checked my settings and it says it's my Blue Snowball is working. So
yeah, it's a tiny bit on the quiet side, but it's not. It's okay. I can hear you, and that's the main thing. You know, I mean, a lot of people have invested in USB microphones as well. I'm using my laptop today just to blab. But when I got my full studio set up, you'll see a microphone hanging down here where you can hear me from it.
Yeah.
But this is just really building up something where I can meet people regularly, blab about stuff, and then put it into a radio program in the UK and help promote you guys. That's what it's about.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to more Burntwelly shows.
Yeah.
And you have another guest here, so I'm going to go out so you can talk to Bruce for a little bit.
Yeah, I will do. Nice to speak to you.
Thank you. Bye.
All the best. All the best to you.
Hello, Bruce. How you doing?
Hey, Greg. I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Yeah, Phil. What do you use Blab for?
Well, this is my first time on Blab, so I'm going to be interviewed on Blab by someone on Thursday. And so he says, hey, you should check in and get familiar with it and figure it out. And so that's exactly what I'm doing. So what about you? How do you use Blab?
Well, I run a radio show in the UK. I took a break for a year, and someone said to me, look, you really got to get your radio show back because it's popular. And right. So I'm in the middle of talking about doing a deal with another station. And so I thought I'll start blabbing and put stuff together which I can put up on my Burntwellyshow site eventually, right. And for the YouTube channel. And this is why I'm ultimately doing this. And it's quite fun. You know, I was explaining a moment ago that what people don't realise, the picture you're looking at is a mirror image, right? So if I point at you, I'm not pointing at you, right? You have to point the other way, right? So I'm now pointing at you, but I'm pointing away from you to point at you.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense. Try pointing at me.
Well, if I point at you,
that's the wrong way.
It is?
Yeah, now point the other way.
Okay, it looks right on my screen, though. Yeah,
it does. It's a mirror. Now it's the right way.
Okay.
So all you got to remember, when you point, if you want to point at somebody, point the opposite direction.
Okay, I see.
Down is actually down, up is up. It's just left and right.
I see.
So I'm now pointing at you. On my screen, I'm pointing the wrong way.
Okay, well, that's good to know. Well, you mentioned you can do this on your laptop. I'm on my phone right now. So to do it on my laptop, I just go to a website. Is that what I do?
Yeah, blab.im.
Blab.im.
Yeah, it's easy as that.
Is there an app for it, Greg?
I think, as far as I know, there are apps on Android.
What are you using, Bruce, on your phone?
Yeah, what phone have you got, Bruce?
I've got an iPhone 6.
What app is there? An app? Is there?
I just went to the iTunes, to the App Store, and typed in Blab, and then I installed it.
That's cool, yeah.
And it's awesome, isn't it? I'll tell you what, your phone is fantastic quality. The camera on it and the sound just sounds great. So
the sound does as well.
That's good. Really good. Yeah. I would have thought you were actually on a computer, to be honest.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
So the thumbs up with the iPhone 4, let's say, because it's really good. You wouldn't know.
Well, it would be a lot easier to have this on a tripod than it is for me holding it the whole time. I can tell you that much. You
can get little tripods on eBay that just sit down and you can hook your phone in. Sure. Similar idea to the selfie stick. That you can walk around filming.
Yes. Well, I actually have a tripod sitting here that I could use, but I'd have to walk over there and get it. But I can do that. But I want to ask you, Greg, if it's okay. I want to ask you, how did you get your name and your info at the bottom of your
That's
image there?
That's a site called Manycam, and I can stick the link back in again if you give me 2 seconds. Okay,
so it's an app then.
It's a Windows-based or Mac-based program.
Okay.
Do you have a Windows machine or a Mac machine?
Yeah. Well, I'm on Mac most of the time.
So go and have a look at that link, manycam.com. They do a Mac version, and I've got the free version at the moment. And but since I've got some funds in my bank, I'm going to go out and buy the full version, which you can do green screen effects and all sorts with apparently.
Oh, can you?
set this up with the GoPro?
Okay, here's my tripod. I'm just grabbing it here.
Basically, you can set this up with anyone who's got a camera connected to a Wi-Fi device. I've got Amazon Kindle Fire HD. I've tested Blab on there. It works really well. So it's fantastic. Yeah, that'd be good for you, wouldn't it? I've got my friend Ian here. That's a wave.
How you doing, man? All right.
Known as DJEs in the UK. If you do a search for him in Google, I'm sure it'll come up. He does a lot of mixing and stuff. So Bruce, anyone who's watching, Bruce is just adjusting.
Right, I'm just putting it on my tripod here.
Yeah.
So
plus, it saves your arm aching, doesn't it, Bruce? holding out like that the whole time.
Okay, let me give this a try.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot easier.
Yeah.
If I can just get it. There we go. Getting it on there.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I saw somebody else that had a scrollable image under their picture.
You can do that as well with Manycam.
Oh, you can. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if I put my Manycam thing up at the moment, what I can do is I can do things like I can make that disappear, make it come back, and there's so many effects. I find it easier to just stick one thing up. The only thing I found with this is I had to move my text. I use a test zone on Blab to move the text over.
Okay.
The other thing I found was I used Google Chrome, and I had to go into the settings of Google Chrome to tell it to use Manycam.
Oh.
When you go in, the screen's blank. So whatever browser you use, you may have to find out do a search on Google how to enable Manycam through your browser.
Okay.
Some machines it just works. Mine, for some reason, it didn't. But I went in, changed the settings, and now I'm going through Manycam, which is really good.
Great.
Greg, would you be able to, like if you're doing a tutorial on software, would you be able to grab the screen and put it onto Blab?
You can do, with Manycam, apparently with the full version, you can broadcast your desktop, apparently. I haven't sussed out how to do it yet. And that's something, because it'd be exciting if you got 2 Twitter accounts and you got another machine with a desktop on there. You could have one screen on here with a desktop and the other screen with yourself talking about the desktop, and then you're doing your stuff. So
you can also do some software tutorials or something.
Yeah, loads of stuff.
That'd be brilliant, wouldn't it?
I mean, I think with this, it's more Blab is really more, in my opinion, for meeting people, talking to them, finding out what they're going to use for. Have you got plans yourself with Blab, Bruce?
Not yet, because being the first time on, I'm not that familiar with it. But I would think it would be a great idea to just do some general discussion sessions and just talk about what it is I'm doing and that kind of thing, and just get interacting with people that way. Do you recommend that?
Oh yeah, I mean, this is what I've been doing. I mean, I did one the other night, and it was my first official Blab, which I tried recording. I made a mistake at the end. When I finished, I hit pause, and then I closed it, and for some reason it didn't render it. So I spoke to someone who knows a bit more about Blab, and he said, when you're finished, don't hit pause. Just click your X in the top of your screen, and then apparently what it'll do then, about an hour or so later, you'll get an email from Blab saying it's rendered now. Here's the link, and then from that link you can download it and edit it however you want on your own machine through an editing program, and then upload it to YouTube or anywhere where you can put video. You can upload it. So but no, I'm finding Blab very exciting at the moment, and it's a great new piece of technology. I mean, let's face it, this sort of idea has sort of been about in other formats, right? The difference is someone went, let's call it Blab, right? Great name to start with.
Yeah, it is.
Let's put 4 screens up where people can hop in and hop out how they want and have a talk about whatever you want to talk about.
And you've got the
And we've got down the sides where I don't know if you get it on your iPhone, but we've got the interaction with the text field that people can type messages in and have a chat with one another. And and plus the bonuses as well. If you tell a little bird, there's a little bird button called Tell a Little Bird that posts on your Twitter account. So Okay. You know, and the nice thing as well, the follow button, which is also I've just followed you next to your name in the picture. What that does as well is it links you up on Twitter. So you're building a bigger network all the time with this and meeting people and talking to people.
Right.
It's I did a blab yesterday. I had a fight with sound, and no one could connect. And the moment I realised, I went on and I put a blab up saying like problem with Skype, and I had something like 38 viewers and 4 people on all the screens at the same time talking about it. And then, unfortunately, with that blab, people then started talking about other stuff, and I didn't get. I learned yesterday that I should have pulled it back, which is why today, you know, I enjoyed, you know, saying, what are you going to use it for? What do you do? Tell me your website address if you've got one.
Sure.
And doing. I'm happy to promote that, but I'm keeping this blab within the what's the best uses for blab.
Right.
The hopping in and out. You know, if you look at the on my screen, we've got 4 people in at the moment, including myself. And we've had total of 19 people hopping in and out and view it, you see. And so, you know, and plus the best times I've learned for blabs, for myself in the UK, whilst I'm doing this one now, I'm doing this really as a bit more of a test as well. Learn during the day. And plus DJ Ease, who's with me, he wanted to see how we blab. He wants to use it. So my idea is to build something up with this, but I'm thinking if I go I find in the evenings in the UK, which is probably early in the USA, I find that you get more people jumping on in the evenings, and so I mean there are a few blabs up today that on the front page that have got quite a few good people watching. You know, there was one that did have at the top. Let me have a quick look and remind myself a minute. 23 watching, you know, on the front page. So it's all down to people hopping in and out and how long you run your blab for as well. People who have run blabs for 2 hours seem to get a lot more viewers than people that just say, well, that, you know, here's an hour. And something that really does annoy me as well about blabbing anyway is you jump on to a blab and the next thing you got the presenter going, well, that's it for me. You know, and you go, what? I've just jumped in. And they go, sorry, so-and-so, we're just finishing now. And I think if you've got engagement with Blab and people hopping, if you've got like 10 watchers and 2 more join, just keep it going for another 10, 15 minutes. There's no harm in it, you know. And then when you've finished answering questions and having a chat, great. I mean, I had a message coming from Bold Brilliant saying, thank you, got to go now. I've subscribed to your show. Looking forward to seeing more of you. So thanks very much, Bold Brilliant. So
that's awesome. That's great. Can I ask you a couple of questions?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So now I'm seeing where you said the number of viewers. 21 viewers. That was total. 5 here now, and then then we're seeing images of the different people who are on now. Is that right?
That's right.
I'm assuming. Yeah.
Yeah, we got 5. Total of 5 people in this blab at the moment. You know.
Right.
And learning about Blab. We're all learning together. I think, you know, a week ago I didn't know about Blab, and
neither did I.
My very own brother, who does a lot of internet marketing, said, "Come and look at my Blab." So I went and watched his, and it was great. And I went, you know, I can use this application to talk to people and get followers and build a radio show up, but on here, and then I can edit it and put it together as a podcast. You see. And that's
that's fantastic. So when you go on as a host. Can there only be one host, or can there be 2 hosts?
There are plans in the future with Blab. Excuse my phone. I'm going to ignore it until it stops. There are plans. Are you still there, Bruce? Because your picture's gone. I hope you can still hear me. There are plans with Blab in the future, I've been told, where they are going to add a feature where you can have 2 hosts. So I hope that's the case. Yeah, Bruce, if you want to, you might have to hit your X button and pop back in, because I don't know if you're still there. All right, I'll just bring Guy in a minute while Bruce is trying to. I'm going to hit you out, Bruce.
I just popped in, Greg. I'm seeing the same thing. Bruce was talking to you, and then poof, he went away.
How you doing? I'm just going to kick.
Great.
Bruce can hear me. Jump back in on the seat, mate.
Right.
Good to see you, guys. How are you?
Fine. I spent the first time in a long time. I was up till 1:25 coding in the morning. It was ugly, but I've visited that time of day before. I got to see the new host of the Late Show and all that nonsense on the telly, and it was good.
Bruce, Guy is what I call one of your major blabbers here on Blab.
No, I'm not.
I've seen you on quite a few, haven't I?
I think if you're on more than 3 times, you get a major blabber. I'm not.
Oh, is that right? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't even have a Mac. I don't have an iPhone. How can I be a major blabber, Greg? Come on.
So you're on a PC then, are you, Guy?
Yes, Windows 10 PC, and just listening and lurking most of the time.
Right. Okay. Right.
Now, so, here's a question I'll throw to both of you guys, because somebody asked me on Twitter. They said, "Are you hosting your show?" And I don't do a show. When you have a topic called Happy Sunday, that's not a show. That's just talking.
Yeah.
Okay. And she said, "Are you going to repurpose your Blab? Does that mean record it in your mind?"
Sorry?
If she says, "Have I left the Blab open to repurpose it?" does that mean she expects me to make a recording of it to put on to, I don't know, a podcast?
I've never heard of that.
That's what I'm assuming she means.
Yeah, she would mean that.
She would her back and said, "What is this? I'm not sure. I don't understand. I want to make sure I'm the same."
Yeah.
Page.
See, with my Blab, my idea. Yeah, I'm recording this, and what I do is I'll edit this down in a way that that we get all the best bits of the Blab. There's no point having, you do Blab something.
Oh, Bruce has gone away again.
And you keep nattering. Bruce will be back in a minute, hopefully. And you keep nattering away about stuff, and
yes,
and people go, "Oh, what are you talking about that for?" And so,
now another use for Blab, to keep on the topic.
Yeah.
Just yesterday, Skype didn't work, and a former DJ in the British Empire says, "Hey, since Skype doesn't work, let's blab about it." So that's how I knew. That's another use for Blab for me, is instant revelation. Yeah, it was you.
Yeah,
exactly right. And so it might be a way to share perception. To just say, this is what I'm seeing is going on.
And that's the thing with Skype went down, and I was looking at all the news reports, and I was going, "Something big's gone on here." And in the UK, I couldn't get back on till about 9 o'clock in the evening. So there's something major going on, and CNN and BBC and everyone was reporting about Skype had this major outage, and I just went, Skype is down, let's blab about it, and that was.
I was back to Skype at 9:38 in the morning. My time. Now that might well have been. No, I'm only 8 hours, so it wouldn't have been. Let's see, it'd be 8 hours onto that. Would be like 4 or 5 o'clock p.m. your time.
Yeah,
was when I was able to Skype, and I had all the features available. Bruce, did you have an outage, or do you use it?
Yeah, I do use it, and I had an interview yesterday, and I thought, why am I not getting on? I couldn't get on, but then I just waited about 20 minutes and tried again, and I did get on, luckily, because I had a very important interview. So it was down for a while, but I'm not really sure how long. I'm in Canada here.
And it didn't affect Skype for business. So if you're a business user paying a monthly fee, you're actually on a different servers. So are you a business user?
Yes, I have Skype in and Skype out. I have 2 numbers.
And yet,
actually, I have to look over here because I forget the numbers.
Skype was reporting that their business side wasn't down. Yet you said you have.
It was. It was down. Now maybe I'm not a business customer, and what I think is a business customer, what they think is a business customer, could be 2 different guys.
I'm just on regular Skype. I'm not on as a business. So as a business, I'm assuming you must have to pay a monthly fee or something, do you?
Right. Yeah. But it's not very much. It's like $2.99, and I have Skype out. Gives me 10,000 minutes. I can call, if I know your landline, Bruce, I can call it with my Skype. I do it all the time.
I do too. And I do too. But
the one issue that people had was they said, "Well, what's this number? You're calling me from a weird number." And they kept saying it over and over. So I said, "I'm going to spend the $3 and get a phone number, so it's always the same, right? Then I pay them $2.99 for a Skype in, but I can beat that. You know how?
How's that?
Google Voice.
Right.
Make my callback number on Skype out. If you want to call me back on this number, and I put my Google Voice number, which, as you know, is free. Put that in as the callback number. Bazinga! It comes back to my computer. And where's Guy most of the time? Well, when I'm not eating, I'm not sleeping, I'm usually sitting in this chair.
I use a company called Sipgate, and in the UK you can get a residential number. I don't know if it works in the USA, but you can get a residential number for free, no line rental. Comes in on my. I've got what's called a Fritz box router, and that converts all my calls to a landline telephone. And so
to an old analog phone. That's what I have Vonage that does that.
Yeah. Use Vonage
because I think I have to have more than one phone number. Originally, I started out with Vonage because I could get calls all over the world, and that was back when I had the fantasy. Oh, I'm going to be a big empire. I have to call everybody. No, I only call the United States and Canada. That's it. That's all I need. So I've toned my Vonage back. I no longer can call the UK. But there was a time, if Greg had Vonage on his phone, and I have here, I can call him no charge. There's no overseas price if it's Vonage to Vonage. So there's times when I think it might be temporarily upgraded. So like if I was building the web project for BBC and I had to do a lot of calls, then it would be worth it. But normally I use Google Voice or Skype. Or Blab. Yeah.
You see, I mean, obviously Skype came along and we had video calling free of charge, computer to computer, which was fantastic. And now Blab's come along.
Right.
And the word conference calling, which is technically in a way what this is, but members of the public can jump in and watch it. I think it is
well, it's getting global. I have a kid, I call him a kid, he's in his 20s, young guy in Serbia that knows me from Skype. He's like, just last night he called me 11 o'clock my time, and I wasn't answering Skype, I was coding. And so I called him back this morning because his time, he's in the afternoon there, I think, and said, what's up and how you doing and so forth. And I reestablished that, oh yeah, I use that Blab thing too. You should try it out. Well, he's still doing Google Plus Hangouts. He's set up a Hangout with a permanent link. I guess there's a way you can create a Hangout, set it to be an event in your calendar, in your Google Calendar, and then it always has that same link that you can share so anybody has the link and get in. So I don't know. He calls bread and toffee.
I never really got on with Google Hangout, to be honest. And a lot of my
bandwidth,
a lot of my stuff, I would do interviews with people either over Skype or by telephone. And for this this format is so simple because it's literally you're on.
Now, can you patch this audio into your mixer or whatever you're doing the show with?
I've got in my studio, I have a separate, by Bruce, wherever you've gone, I've got a completely separate computer which can actually send these pictures off to another channel if I want as well. So I can do audio. I mean, at the moment, I'm in my kitchen and I'm blabbing today at home. But when I'm in my studio, I can pump the audio feed.
I thought you had a real jazzing studio with that kitchen cupboard behind you. I thought it was pretty convenient.
And I love on Blab, you can mute channels. So when I'm on here and I'm talking through my system can't hear me. But if someone else jumps in on the Blab, and I said, oh, Dave, hang on a minute, I can mute Dave on the screen while I'm talking to you.
Right.
We finish having our little blab about
whatever.
Blab. Yeah. I say thanks very much, guys. Speak to you soon. I mute you and I unmute the next person. So it's a good I love that as a feature here because
you have more sources.
Yeah, because then I can. I said the other day that I'd love to have a Blab queue, and what that means is you got 10, 20 people in a room, right, and you got free seats, yeah. And you say to people, look, I'm going to tell you now, when you jump in on the seat, you're going to be muted until I'm ready to talk to you, all right? But if you had a queue as one person leaves, the next person
and then will jump in.
Will jump in automatically.
I saw a guy in New York did that. The way he did it, Greg, was he said the topic was something like your 15 minutes of fame or 15 seconds of fame. You could pop in, do your elevator speech. Like I would pop in and say, I'm based an hour west of Seattle. I provide internet solutions for small and medium-sized business. Been in business since 1995. That's it. That's us. You can say where you're at and what are you doing, and then I know that was my cue to leave, and then Brad or whoever else was waiting to talk would jump in. Now we didn't know we were number 4, number 5, number 6 in the queue. We just, whenever a seat opened up, we jumped in, and then we would sit there on mute with our microphone shut until you, as the host, said, "Okay, guy, what are you about? Why are you here? Where are you from?" Or I don't remember how he introduced people. He said something jazzy, something pretty clever.
But is it exciting? I was going to say, we've got a few other people in on this Blab, and if they wanted to hop in and tell me what you use Blab for, please jump in an open seat. I'm happy. Yeah,
because the best use for Blab we may not know, Greg. That's a good idea. I think all we have to do is find the person that's not shy.
Yeah.
Because, when you're recording, they go, "Oh my God, he's recording it. What if I stutter? What if I pick my nose?"
Well, with this recording, like I do with all my recordings, when I interviewed Neil Sedaka, right, for my radio show.
Yeah. Neil Sedaka.
The Neil Sedaka, yeah.
So how many days did it take for you to get back to Earth after that interview?
Oh, it was amazing. I can actually, if 2 minutes,
yeah,
I will find the link.
So was he visiting your part of the country, or he was in London? You called him long distance?
He was in London. And
yeah.
I was very blessed. I knew someone that knew him.
Right.
For over 50 years.
Let me just get rid of that there a minute. Page that. And I'll put the link down here. And he was being interviewed by a TV host on BBC TV.
Okay.
And the night before. Right. And the very next day, I had a phone call from his manager. And Neil Sedaka said, the manager said, "You've got 20 minutes. That's all. 20 minutes."
Wow.
Neil Sedaka was enjoying my interview so much, it went for over an hour and 20 minutes.
And
yeah,
did you send him questions by email? What you were going to talk about? Like you're going to talk about your book or your movie?
It was
just totally on the fly.
On the fly.
Wow.
And I was taking
amazing.
I was taking notes. He was in London. Jules Holland is a well-known TV presenter in the UK, and he does his own show on BBC BBC Two television.
Oh, just a moment. I went to that link and it started playing.
Yeah,
I'm hearing your voice twice. Once talking about. Oh, and I got to tell you, the Yanks had a problem with your show name.
Did they?
The Burnt Welly. What's a burnt welly? I said, well, a welly. It could be a rain boot. In England, they call them Wellingtons, and they call them wellies for short. Maybe that's it. They go, and everybody was kind of pitching. Says, "How did he know that?" I said, "Well, it helps that I lived there." But anyway, that's one of my giveaways when people say, "Oh, you lived in the UK," because anybody you can say, "Yeah, I lived in England," but then I say I compliment that with, "I know what conkers are." So they go, "Oh, well, if you know the game, then you must have really, truly been here, because that's not one that's in the Olympics. That's not one on TV. You had to be in the village playing with the kids." And I was 9 years old playing conkers. We had an American football, right? Because we were Yanks. They called us Yanks for short. And not to our face, but when we weren't there, I'm sure. We found out that American football is just like a rugby ball shape. It's perfect to throw up in a conker tree and knock out those green, not ripe conkers. They're still brown and they have all the colors, but they're hard as a bullet. Okay? And so you take your dad's drill and drill one of those out and put it on the string. Oh, you had a weapon then. It's like there's an American game of marbles, and if you had a steel ball bearing, for short they call them steelies.
Right.
If you had a steely in marbles, that was Godzilla, because it was heavy, way heavier than a regular marbles would just bounce off of it. It was awesome. So the conkers that were knocked out with a football were good.
I was going to ask
you. Go ahead.
Like, how did you find out about Blab?
Somebody in Google Hangouts said we're trying out Blab. You see that little sign right up there? You can kind of make out the coffee cup on it.
Yeah.
That's a group of people known as Tech and Coffee.
Okay.
And they were talking about it, and they sent out a broadcast message that I saw it on. I think I saw it on Facebook actually the first time.
Yeah.
And they should try out Blab, and we're enjoying it. They've now kind of migrated back to Hangouts. I don't think they do Blab as much as they did at one time, kind of kicking the tires, as it were, feeling it out. One comment that one person had was it was a tremendous drain on their system. It used up a lot of bandwidth. I said, well, gee, you think? You got voice over IP, video over IP, and X number of people. On a weekday, they might be well over 100 people using it. So it's still catching on. It's still going to be, the people that have the time to do it. I have time to do it because it's just now 7:30 a.m.
Yeah.
I haven't got the busy times yet.
Great Beer Woman says, my connection is lagging a lot lately, but I use Blab to host a weekly show about beer. So,
that sounds good.
Well, that explains Great Beer Women.
I'm gonna follow Great Beer Women, and if I remember how to do it.
Well, you have to go over there on the side.
Yeah.
And then when you put your cursor on their name.
Yeah.
And it turns into the hand where it's a link, and click it, and that'll take you to her Blab profile.
It is.
And it says Amanda Great Beer Adventure podcast about beer, and then just click follow and bazinga like I just did, and you followed her.
They call it Sunday Brew Blab. So
yep.
Great Beer Woman, if you want to hop in on the seat and tell us more about it, you're more than welcome to.
Yeah, and I'll tell you about a mate I know, and there's a guy in New Orleans, Louisiana, Andrew is his name, who's a true beer. This guy, he'll own a brewery someday. He's in his 20s now, I think, maybe early 30s, but he's really up on that. Makes his own beer, has parties, people come over all the time to drink the beer that he's made, and he's really scientific about it, like where your hops come from matter and what grains you use and so forth and so on. Really knows the product. Oh, she did come in.
There we are.
Good morning.
Hi, Amanda.
Good morning. I'm calling in from Maine.
I see what you mean.
Yeah.
By you're on one of the slowest connections in the world.
Yeah.
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 How are you? Let's hope it still works. How's it going to work for you for doing a Blab if your picture's breaking up?
Oh, we've lost her.
We've lost her, I think.
I lost her picture. We've lost her altogether. Where is she from? Did she say Michigan?
I'm not sure. If you still hear us, please tell us where you're from, and let me.
Just type it in the chat.
It's going through.
Oh, in Maine. Okay, I had the M part right, but the rest of it I couldn't get. The audio broke up for me, and a lot of times it's me because I'll be talking in a Blab, Greg, and the audio gets real choppy, gargled up. Then I'll leave and just go to chat, and I can listen just perfect. The audio doesn't tear up. I think the video.
It's because you're sending video and voice up your line. On my broadband connection, I get 20 meg up, and I get 75 meg down.
Yeah, so and I've just got a small one that's up to 5.
The up bit's more important than the down bit, you see, because with the up bit, you can
correct.
Get,
That's just like the Vonage phone I was talking about to Brad and you a while ago. I programmed the router to have 30K set aside just for Vonage. No matter what else is going on, downloads, uploads, Blab, whatever. 30K of that bandwidth of my 5 megs up is locked in stone for my Vonage phone so that it's right.
Great Beer Woman, type in for us a bit about what you're going to be doing for us in the chat window. And
when is your show on? It's on Sundays?
And
she said Sunday, right?
I think so.
Or you did. You said Sunday.
And no, I think she said. And we also got a quote here: best uses idea, quick chat. Which, you know, I guess if you go into a test zone, a test zone, and you want to
sure.
But let's let Steve join us as well. Let him come in.
I've seen people. Good morning, Steve. I'm going to follow you quick. We've been having dropout problems from some people.
Steve, tell me quickly. Tell me what you use Blab for, and what your future uses are.
Well, see, I think we could have some interesting chats, my friend. If not today, in the future, because best uses for Blab. That's one of the main reasons I'm here, to experiment with that. I think we all are, whilst it's in beta. Yeah. So one thing I wanted to point out straight off, and I haven't been doing that, and I've learned this today, and I'm going to do it from now on, is I do think that because of the tie-up between Blab and Twitter, you should always have hashtags in your title.
Hey, now that's a very good point. You know what? What a great.
So he should say the topic would be best uses for hashtag Blab instead of just Blab. That's a thought.
Yeah. Now, I'll tell you why that's good. It's not just good because it looks pro, but if you then use that with saying tell a little bird on the left-hand side, every time somebody does that hashtag goes off to their Twitter feed. And you never know, you never know when a big fish is watching and the good that could do your stream.
That is a very, very good tip. And the thing is that, I mean, we're all learning about Blab. This is quite a relatively new technology.
Exactly.
Next time,
that's a good idea, Steve.
Like you, Steve, and you come up with an idea. Then I meet Guy, and he comes up with an idea, and I come up with an idea, and loads of people come up with ideas, and then we lump all the ideas into one big hat. And it's what you do with them. It's the action with them afterwards. And that tip is fantastic. To put a hashtag in on the subject I'm going to be doing that from now on.
Well, I think now you know how to change the subject, so I'm not going to go into that. Yeah, you just type in the whack topic.
Do you think it's better to put it like best uses for hashtag Blab or hashtag best uses for Blab?
No, I actually think
the best would be hashtag Blab. Go ahead, Steve.
Well, no, what I'm doing is I've sat on here, now for nearly 7 days, almost solid. So I've got Blab eye. Yeah.
Yes.
Right, but no, I think
like if you've been playing video games, your thumbs are gone. Right.
Yeah. They went years ago. No, it's so I'm not a marketer now. I used to be a marketer, but just the place is swarming with marketers, and these are smart people. And they're early adopters. So I'm sitting on a lot of the marketing channels, even though what I'm here to talk about really isn't marketing at all.
Yeah,
I'm an animator. But so learning from them. And then today I was thinking about the synergies you can get. There's a lot of people talking about that, how to make the best of your on-the-record Blab times. So I've spent today thinking about hashtags. So I'm going to be doing a Blab about that. At some point, since I've got enough expertise.
Very good topic. Now, Steve, where are you at specifically? You're in Britain or Australia or what?
I'm in Britain. I'm in Bournemouth, down on the south coast.
I'm in Somerset.
Okay.
It's not all that far from that.
Good man.
Yeah.
Your speakers are picking up, Steve. I just heard Greg's voice in the background.
Okay.
You might have to tweak them down
a bit now. How's that?
Yeah.
Good.
That's good.
So you could. So what you're saying, Steve, is to put the hashtag first. Is that right?
No. What I think, and please, in all marketing, it's all about experimenting. What works for you? Yeah. So don't, mine's just an idea.
A/B testing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. In fact, I did that. There's a website, Steve, called American Marketing Institute.
Okay.
AM Institute.
Yep.
And they have a headline tester. So if I wanted to say blabbing with Steve from Somerset, and then I would put that headline in, and they would give it a spiritual, emotional, and intelligence score, right?
Yeah.
Good copywriters will get around 30 to 40. The wizards will get 50 to 75. What time I opened a Blab, just for the purpose, not with hashtags, that's even better, gravy on the potatoes, but I just changed the topic over and over and over until those little dots on the top were at the peak. So the best headlines were not intellectual, not spiritual, but emotional. The ones that had a high emotional score worked the best, were the most engaging.
Yeah.
Like, please come Blab about best uses for Blab would maybe be a stronger performer than talking in the UK about Blab, because then you're going to locate yourself thinking, well, I'm not in the UK, I'm not going to go, right?
Yeah. That's a very good point.
That's a good experiment. Yeah, if you want to dabble with hashtags, you could do the same thing, maybe.
Yes, so my personal thoughts, Greg, to answer your question, but this is just my start point for now, is if you was having best uses for Blab, I would go with what you've got and then add the hashtags underneath.
Right.
The reason
separate and apart.
Yeah, well, as part of the title, but underneath, because if you look at what we got at the moment here, if you look at when you ask people to tell a little bird, what's going to happen is that the title at the moment would be very readable, and then if you added the hashtags in, then that's your kind of longevity of what's going on, because those hashtags will survive longer.
I'm hearing you say what he needs to do. Greg's show is called the Burntwellyshow, and you're in the UK. You know what a welly is, especially on the South Coast.
Right.
So he just puts in the hashtag Burntwellyshow, and everyone that knows the brand will look for that golden arch in the restaurant world and say, oh, there's Greg's show. I know that hashtag because that's the handle he's got. I use Guy R. Cook. I wonder why.
Yeah.
Because that's who I am. So people can go in and say, well, what's Guy R. Cook been on about recently? So my customers can go in and find out, well, I've been in Blab this morning spinning the wheels. And one of the best uses for Blab that I've got is give me something to do while I'm waiting for the phone to start ringing, because it's just now coming up on 8 o'clock here. So it's not really prime time for me.
Yeah.
Probably in another hour. Then I'll be getting Skypes and phone calls and stuff, and I'll have to step away. There's just too many interruptions, just too much business going on.
Exactly.
So
I'm here when I'm rendering, so I've got something happening in the background. Otherwise, I have to go.
Yeah,
again.
You're waiting on something.
Exactly.
Like Greg's waiting for a pot of tea to cook in the kitchen, so he's going to blab for a bit.
So, Steve, I'm going to change the topic a minute. You saying something like that?
Yes, and then there's a step I want to take a bit further than that. You're stealing my show now, man. I'll give you one.
A/B testing.
I'll give you one more, okay?
Yeah,
and that is, I come from a Google AdWords background, so that's where I succeeded in marketing.
Yeah,
and then I wanted a fresh challenge. So the whole social media thing, places I've done well, but overall I'd say I'm still learning. So going back to AdWords. You want to test, I still believe this is true for this, you want to test the popularity of the keywords that you're putting in your title using something like the Google AdWords keyword tool.
Yeah, I've used that.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, because then you're going to get bigger traction on those words.
Yeah.
So it might be that you need to say Burntwelly program instead of Burntwelly show, for example. They're going to give you synonyms for the same keyword. Like if you're saying Blab, you might say talk, or you might say chat, or you might say other things instead of Blab, because it might be that their popularity is higher than Blab's is because it's so new. Maybe.
Quick thank you to Great Beer Woman. Looks like you've got to go. Great Beer Woman, and if you give one of my Blabs in the future when your internet's working, come back.
Yeah.
But
we're going to have a prayer circle for Great Beer Woman to get a higher bandwidth and increase her connectivity to 4 megs up instead of just 2.
So, Steve,
and find out which one of the kids is playing Minecraft while she's trying to do Blab.
Tell me, you said you're going to be doing a Blab. Tell everyone what the Blab's going to be called, so then we can look out for it when you do it.
Well, this is my point, my friend. I'm going to test those titles before I give you the title. I'm going to go into Google AdWords tool, yeah? I'm going to try and get some leverage.
No,
let me find that. I'll find the link for AMI and give you that in the chat.
Thank you.
So is that green screen behind you, Steve, that you've got there, or just a standard background?
It's a green screen. As you can see, I'm pretty washed out now. And that's because I've got the curtains open. Excuse me a sec. Live. drawing the curtains here, so that's slightly better. But the thing I haven't sorted out yet is my lighting. So if I actually put this on a green screen, it's a bit touch and go.
Yeah. Do you use Minicam like I do, or do you use other?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I've been telling people for years. American Marketing Institute. I'm nationalist, right? It's Advanced Marketing Institute. I just looked at their title.
I had someone ask me if I was using green screen, and I said no, and I had to prove to them that I was in the kitchen. And I knew that. That's my cupboard door. Someone didn't believe I was in the kitchen.
Proof of life. Steve, we know those are all television. Those are TV props, Steve. Come on, Greg. You got those from the prop manager said, "Oh, you're going to be in the kitchen." Well, we'll hang up a fake cupboard and we'll give you some fake food to put in there. Because you notice he didn't bring any cans out so you can see the labels real close, Steve. That's because they're made for television products. Yeah. They just have a colored label. There's probably not even in English.
But this idea on hashtags is really exciting, Steve. And
that's a good thought. Stay the course with that, Steve.
I'm very intrigued to see your about this, because no one's really thought about it when it comes to blabbing.
We'll have the producer contact you, because we'll have to do the interview after you do your podcast.
Yeah,
and you're the expert. Then Greg will do the show.
Yeah, I'd love to invite you back at some point. I've added you on favorite you on the Blab thing there, and
and then you can also, Greg. Let me interrupt you just a second, like I always do. God, I've got to show.
Carry on.
When you go to their profile, many people will have a hyperlink. I didn't notice if Steve did or not, but I'm sure he does.
I do. Yeah.
That it says follow me on Twitter or contact me on Twitter, and you can do that and do them both at once. Because it'll just open up another tab in your browser, and then you've got the Twitter thing too, because you're already logged into Twitter to be here.
Yeah.
So that's the other edge of the sword.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know when I'm going to be doing this. It might be later today. I'm just still forming the ideas. I don't want to come out like, yeah. I want to say, I want to be a bit more measured, But I'm following you guys. I hope you follow me back. Yeah, so I'll give the style I like to do, at least I'm learning, but is present, nobody interrupt, and then everybody come in and we'll talk about it off the record.
Yeah. And I think
and then open the seats up. Yeah, I've seen that model used. That's a good idea.
Yeah. Honestly, guys, oh man, I've seen these blabs which they open the seats up whilst they're trying to disseminate information. And this one woman, poor thing, she had this older woman join and the camera flipped up to the ceiling. And it had the telly in the background. It was a nightmare, So you don't want that kind of thing happening.
No, and I mean, I was looking at some blabs last night, and a lady was doing tell us a joke blab, and she was literally people jump in, and one guy jumped on and told a joke, and then he went, and it was quite a good little format, and it was very intriguing to watch, and so I mean. It's nice, like you said, a lot of marketers are on this Blab format, and it's very frustrating. It's great. You can learn loads, and I love that.
You do.
Yeah, that's fantastic to have. But I wanted to make Blab more fun, and that's why this subject coming up, what do you use Blab for, isn't about marketing. It isn't about sales. It isn't about, I don't mind people giving out the website addresses. It's not, if you've got a website, please tell us, because it's nice to go and have a look at what that person's doing. But it's more about, what we're using Blab for, Minicam that I've told a few people about. Also, I assume you know as well, Steve, that if you point on your screen that way, it's pointing the wrong way for everyone else. That's right. You're pointing. If you up is up, obviously, but you were pointing the right way. Then, yeah. A lot of people don't realize it's a mirror image. So if I want to point at a guy, I can. I'm pointing at you, and then I'm pointing down in that corner. But I'm pointing the opposite direction. People don't realize. So when they go, I'm going to point at you. They do that.
Yeah.
And it goes the wrong way.
Yeah.
I mean, I learned that early stage when I used Minicam and I put my name up. It was back to front, and I realized straight away. That's what gave it away for me in the test zones. But it's going to be intriguing. And I've got a proper studio with green screen like you and a microphone and stuff. And in the future, I'm revamping my studio to make. I had to run a network cable so that it wasn't wireless because it kept getting drop out. You see, so I'm on a hard connection in here, and so that's nearly in.
Very good.
I can then broadcast on Blab from my own studios, like you're doing, Steve.
That's great. I'm very sorry. I've got to go now.
Pleasure talking to you.
Yeah.
One comment I got to make, Steve. You
Yeah.
need a new avatar picture. Your avatar picture with the dark glasses and the shaved head looks nothing like you.
I can't change it. It's embarrassing. I can't.
Why?
Change it. Well, if I change it in Chrome, I've tried a few browsers. If I change it, it just like smiles back at me, never does anything.
Oh, wow.
That's interesting. I managed to change mine without any problems on the front page of Blab.
But I tell you this, though,
I've changed mine to that finger just recently, and it changed. It worked.
Yeah, the thing is with mine, though, I'm probably going to stick with it because I look completely different to everybody else. So
quite fun,
I'm going to use that to my advantage, I hope.
Well, if those are the golden arches on your restaurant, everyone knows you by that image, then I would keep it for sure.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I'm just saying, Bart, my first time I've met you, it doesn't look like you. That's what
No, it doesn't.
Before you go, Steve, anyone
sir.
that's in the room, follow Steve because he's going to be talking about hashtags.
Yeah, you're going to learn some things from this guy.
It's a very interesting subject. So click on the little button to follow him, and I think that's going to be
follow him on Twitter so you can find out when he does his shows. It'll come up in your Twitter that Steve is scheduled to show, and et cetera, et cetera.
Thank you so much, guys. I'm sure I'm going to talk to you again.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for a great chat.
Adios.
Bye for now. Bye, Steve. If anyone else wants to jump in on what you use Blab for, please do jump in an open seat. We'll gladly welcome you in. We've got Guy in the room with me as well, and we've been, talking about all sorts, haven't we, Guy? At the moment,
a bit of a racket, yes.
Yeah. I mean, yesterday we were talking about Skype being down, which was quite good, and I had a lot of people jumping on. I just bunged it up,
It was the headline. It was a topic that was current. I wonder if you could go into the Twitter account and see what's trending on your Twitter. Like they say, the big news, like the big news where I live. I'm an hour west of Seattle, so the big news on all the telly is the president of China is coming to visit. Oh my God, he's going to be here for 2.5 days. Traffic's going to be murder. And so forth. So that's the topic. If I was going to do one in Seattle, what do you think about the president of China being here? What traffic endurance is? And some companies, believe it or not, some companies in 2015 are going to let the employees telecommute from home instead of going in and battling the traffic. Okay, but the guy that can't do that is the guy that's a cook in the restaurant. They showed him on the news. He goes, I'm just going to leave for work an hour early so I can get here on time, hopefully, because they're expecting huge backups over the traffic being amok. Because we have bad traffic. The traffic is already bad. So the president of China being here and blocking off roads and everything is going to make it terrible.
Yeah.
It'll be just really terrible. Now, who's your mate? Who's that guy behind you making the tea?
This is DJ Ease. And he does throughout the UK. He does a lot of DJ mixing and events up and down the UK. So he's sat to one side because I was showing him about Blab. And so this is one of the other reasons why I came on today was he wanted to know about Blab and how to use it and what we were doing. You see, and I said, well, let's go. What should we do? And he said, well,
I think. As far as shows go, that might be a show that you could do is how you set up your engineering. If you've got a studio, this is what you must do to have the Blab work for you.
Yeah.
And I can see him a bit. Hey, there's half of his face. Put it on him, Greg, then he'll take all the heat. There you go.
But I noticed Rita's hopped in. Rita, if you're still there, you're welcome to jump in on the seat. Anyone who's in this Blab, jump on an open seat. I'd love to know what you use Blab for.
Oh, yeah, share, Rita. Come on.
So you're more than welcome to hop in, and we're happy to listen to you like other people have done, you see. So let's have a look.
What did we share already? Well, there was the winning lottery numbers, and then right after that, no, I'm kidding. We talked to the beer lady.
Yeah.
And we talked to the guy that gave us the cues on how to have hashtags in the topics. Many things. So, Rita, what did we miss? What are we not saying?
What do you use Blab for?
I've seen everything, right? I mean, I'm coaching a lot of my clients on using Blab in a really creative way. So I saw someone teaching guitar to a room full of people who all had their guitars. I saw someone teaching a painting class, so teaching classes, right, where the instructor can look out, see what you're doing.
Have you seen the game shows? I saw one that was Name That Tune. These kids were much younger than I. They were like in their 20s.
Yeah.
And they would play like just a little snippet of the first cut of the song, like where Greg would do his intro, the time and temp, and then the song would start the verbs. So they would do this Name the Tune thing. And I said, I can't play. They said, why not? I said, I've never heard of any of these bands. I don't know who they are. So that's one of the things I've seen. There's some game show potential too.
Game shows, classes. I saw collaboration where people had different instruments and they were all coming together and kind of collaborating and creating music together. So the opportunities are really, I mean, but you know, in addition to just these, the discussions or interviews, things like that, it's really limitless when you kind of start taking it out in an instruction way.
I know.
When is your show on, Rita?
I have a group that I run called the Women's Business Garden. It's a Facebook group. And so every Sunday at 6, we from the group, we all come over and talk about something related to entrepreneurship and small business ownership for women. 6 p.m. Eastern.
Can we use the word solopreneur?
Solopreneur. I have some solopreneurs.
Because many women that are in the industry are by themselves. They're one lady show. They might have virtual assistants backing them up, but for the most part, it's just one.
I have wantrepreneurs too. So people who are interested in leaving corporate America and kind of branching out on their own and starting their own business.
Instead of working for somebody else, they want to build their own fortune. I hear you.
Oh, sure. That's what I did. I was a business attorney for 14 years and left that behind to become a business coach. And it was the best decision I ever made.
Yeah. In 2002, somebody said to me, he said, why don't you have your own gig? I said, what do you mean? He says, well, you can work for somebody the rest of your life, or you can build your own fortune. And you're the marketing director at the 9th biggest ISP in Central Puget Sound, Seattle area. So why don't you just go off on your own? And so I did. And that's when I learned all the headaches of being where the buck stops. When you're in management, take this to your podcast and hear me out on this one. When you're in management, when you're the boss, you get to do what you want to do, what's on your dance card, your agenda, 37% of the time.
Yeah.
Okay. The rest of the time, you're making the kids lunch, doing whatever you got to do to make the day go by. Okay. There's other things that happen.
Tell me, Rita, I was going to ask you, do you still do your business work at the moment then? You're still running your own business?
Oh, yeah. I'm a business coach, so I help coach other people on how to grow their business and how to start and grow their business.
If people want to find you, do you have a web address?
I do. I would actually point people to my Facebook group, which I'll type it into the bar, but it's www.facebook.com/group/women's business garden. All one word.
Okay. So you know that in your Blab profile, that link isn't there. You filled it up with hashtags about entrepreneurship, relationships, up your 5.
Yep.
No Facebook. Oh, my goodness.
Facebook page, not
now
yet.
Is the Facebook page... Is the Facebook page on your Twitter? Because it says find me on Twitter. Okay.
The Facebook group actually just opened, I think, 7 days ago, and we already have 150 women in it. So now I'm ready to advertise. Yeah.
Okay. So now I've gone to your Twitter, and it says Northern Virginia, RitaGoodrow.com, joined June 2009. I don't see Facebook. I'm talking above the fold, the first thing I see.
Yeah, I don't think I've saved it yet. I've actually been crafting my new bios this morning.
Right. You've got a ton of hashtags in here, almost like Instagram.
The hashtag. It brings me all the people.
And you're a spin-off from Periscope, Rita, that you did Periscope first and then came to Blab? Is that how you heard about it?
I actually found Blab first and then went to Periscope.
Okay. How do you find that?
You know, here's the thing, right? And I did a talk about this yesterday about Periscope and Blab. And Blab, Blab works better for me, for the kind of business I run. Because it's about relationships. It's seeing the people.
It's about being social.
Yeah. And Periscope is kind of the same, but it's more of a connection. So it's everybody watching me makes a connection with me, and I might resonate with them, and they might decide they want my services or my package or whatever. But it's a connection, not a relationship. And Blab then expands that into a relationship. So I've actually taken my followers from Periscope and also incorporated them hopping over to Blab. The kind of
and then when you're in Periscope, say, oh, by the way, on Sunday nights.
Yeah. Yep. Periscope is more for those moments of I'm here and I want you to see what's going on really quickly. Or I just have this thought that I wanted to share briefly. I don't really have time to engage in a whole dialogue about it.
Yeah, this just came up on the desktop. What do you think about this new thing? Like yesterday, I just found out about this thing from a guy named Coach Mike in Texas. And he uses a thing with his team of people called Slack.
Okay.
Are you familiar? And he trains people for marathons, like half marathons and marathons. He's really into running, and he comes from HR background, and he's got really good communication skills. And he finds that Slack works well for him because if he has a thought or something he wants to send to the team, he doesn't want to do a half-hour podcast. Right. Just say blah, blah, blah about whatever. Is my hair too long? Okay. We'll pick on Rita for a minute. She'll cut her hair. Anyway, the Slack interface he finds to be the champion. And I think it was the result. Greg was really on top of it yesterday and said, hey, Skype is out, so let's blab about it. And so we came up with other solutions for communication with our team, with our VAs. I'm doing a project right now where I'm building up resources for virtual assistants. Yeah. Like what are the 50-some things that virtual assistants can do, and do you have to have one virtual assistant do everything?
No.
I think it's impossible. No. I don't think that's possible.
Oh my God! Can I tell you my tip on that I tell all my clients? Sure. It's so funny because I just told a client that this morning. I said, when you interview virtual assistants or any assistant, but especially virtual, ask them what they love to do. Say, what do you love to do? And
what's their passion?
I love social media. And I'll say, great, you're going to be my social media person. And then I'll ask another one, what do you love to do? And maybe they love to make travel arrangements and logistics. I'll hire that person for that. And here's the thing, because virtual assistants have multiple clients usually, not just one. If you hire them for what they love to do, then your work will always go to the top of the pile. Whenever you call them and say, I need you to do something, then your work goes right to the top because they love
it. But what you're doing is you're not trying to find the Swiss Army knife of virtual assistants. The guy has a blade for everything. And where I stopped and thought was when you said, oh, you do social media. I get more granular than that. Mm-hmm. I take it to, are you a Twitter champ, a Facebook champ, a Google Plus champ? Because just because they say, yeah, I do social media, and then you say to them, well, do you use Instagram? Well, what's that?
What's that? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, then you have that you're paying them for tuition. So they have to learn Instagram to keep their job because you have a presence there, but they might not be the sharp knife in the drawer when it comes to doing your announcements. That's really good. Absolutely. So tell me again,
but I always spread it out.
When is your show on?
Sunday nights at 6 Eastern.
Okay, put that in your Twitter.
I was going to ask you, do you find being on Periscope and Blab and Twitter and Facebook stretching your resources too much, or do you tend to it on certain sites?
Wait, do I? Oh, I didn't hear you.
I was saying, do you find using Periscope and Blab and Twitter and Facebook stretching your resources for social media?
No, not at all. Really, the main thing I do now is Facebook because I run this group that has some. I mean, we have really great women in there. I mean, amazing women in this group, and so what I do then is I supplement here and there with like LinkedIn or Twitter, but they each have a very different purpose.
Right.
Twitter I use for very quick updates. That's what I use Periscope for, and then Blab is my longer kind of connection time, and Facebook is just daily. Every day, once a day, I do it. But for some of the update and upkeep, I have a virtual assistant that does some of that for me, so that I'm not stretched too thin through the platforms, and I'm able to still reach a lot of people.
Right.
And all the different media for different things. I have different it's a different audience, a different client is watching me in each of the areas.
I use a recipe. What Greg said is very dear to my heart because I was running out of time, but I only get 37%, right? So I use a program called buffer.com.
Yeah.
I can schedule announcements in certain hours of the day, whatever my prime time hours are, and then those go out. And so Buffer is running right now on the other computer doing whatever it does. And every once in a while I'll get an email and it'll say, hey, you need to put more stuff into your queue for LinkedIn company page. There's nothing left in the bucket or whatever. And so then I'll give some content that's related to the mission, maybe the virtual assistant project if there's more things to say, and use that tool. Because between Buffer and If This Then That, I can take on projects like Route 6 Tour is a project I do. It's the longest contiguous highway in the United States, runs coast to coast, goes through 600 communities in 14 states. Okay? Yeah. I manage it with If This Then That and Buffer and take care of business.
Yeah, I use Mass Planner. So there's another tool called Mass Planner, and it does the same thing. It helps you kind of post across the different media, find the right times for the post to go out.
Right.
It helps you, you know, not just automate posts, but you can find the right followers. It can help you through RSS feeds, kind of find.
Right, like only show me the RSS feeds for people that have 1,000 followers or more in Twitter on the subject of wellies in the south coast of England. So then Greg's name might come up, but I want to talk to him because he's got a lot of followers. He's an influencer in that area of responsibility, as opposed to the guy that wears Wellingtons once a month because he's brave enough to go outside, and the rest of the time he just watches the rain through the window. I don't need those.
Rita, I was going to ask you, do you do anything on Instagram?
I just started Instagram. I just got on Instagram.
Because, I mean, we're talking about virtual assistance programs.
Right.
Where you can schedule your posts and stuff. And I've only ever found one site, I have to look it up in a minute, that can automatically post to Instagram. There aren't many out there.
Mass Planner can.
Can it?
Mass Planner will cross-post to Instagram, Google+, Pinterest, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, and something else.
Yeah, they started Pinterest on. Buffer just started Pinterest up.
So,
yeah.
Because I do some stuff. I post some pictures and stuff on Instagram. So what I like to do is sit down in the morning and schedule up what I'm planning on doing. Let that roll out. I still jump on live every so often because you've still got to have a bit of a personal touch on social media. I've got another computer set up, which I've got Twitter and Facebook on. Normally, I'm not in my studio today, but when I'm in my studio, I've got a machine one side with Twitter, one with Facebook. If someone puts something up, I can respond back accordingly.
Yeah.
And then I've got the main computer in the middle, which I'm using Blab. And when I finish doing this, I'm going to sit down, take the bits that aren't right out, and then put it on my YouTube channel as well. Which is why I asked you about your web address and stuff and how people find you, because it's good for social networking and me telling people about what you're doing, because that's the point of it.
Right. I've started using a software. It's called Tumblr, and that's one that's working well for me. There's a lot of big guys on Tumblr that I share stuff with, like the San Diego Zoo and on and on and on. But I would challenge you to add that to the recipe. I guess it was the social media soup that you stir every day. You might want to throw a vegetable into there once in a while.
Yeah,
just depends on what your target market is.
My target market are women in their 40s who have just started a business.
Then you're on Pinterest. You got to be on Pinterest. If you want girls, you go to Pinterest.
Oh no, I'm on Pinterest.
Yeah, that's where they're at.
Well, I don't know. Actually, it's funny. My clients aren't on Pinterest as much. They are really on Twitter, LinkedIn, and Facebook. A lot of mine are level females who have worked their way up the ladder in corporate America, and they kind of said, you know what? Now I'm ready to take everything I've got.
I've got skills. I'm going to take it my own thing.
so that I can have more time with my family, a little more flexibility, a little more freedom. And they all tend to be on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I just want to welcome Steve into the room. I see he's
Hi, Steve.
So if he wants to jump in the seat, he's welcome to. Do you find, Rita, that automation for you helps you a lot with running your business?
Yeah, automation. I automate a lot, right? I have email campaigns. I have schedulers. Automation is key when you're an entrepreneur. I say delegate or automate or get rid of as many obligations as you can. I mean, everything from having someone clean my house to sending out my laundry because all of that is time. And with time, I can go out and be connecting with people, getting face-to-face and building business. So I try to automate as much as I can.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, when you set up face-to-face, do you always have an appointment? That was my cardinal rule. When back in the day, when I used to sell FM radio, and if I didn't have an appointment, they wouldn't see me. Yeah. But once I made the appointment, you always make the appointment not as a bridge burning event, never see the person again and say, okay, well, I'm in your town, like the guy I go see in Oregon. I'm in your town every Monday. I'll pop in every Monday. If you don't need anything, say hi, goodbye, we'll putt the golf ball. He had a sporting goods store, and he always challenged me to be the farthest putter on this practice golf course. So one time he put in all this warped plywood. It was just like the hole from hell, and you could never get a putt in there if you tried 100 times. And he practiced all day, so he could do it straight away, and then I'd miss. But anyway, on Mondays, he knew that guy, maybe in the morning, maybe in the afternoon, I got tied up, but he would see me on Monday. So if he did have a campaign to start, I would be available to him. And I think that model works very well.
I have a couple of different ways that I'm building business and getting face to face, right? So one is with my actual clients, doing my actual client work, but the other is speaking. So now I go around, I think it's about twice a week, and I speak at different organizations and associations or groups for women entrepreneurs and business owners, and then I'm networking there. And then I'm in 2 networking groups where I participate fully and consistently. So I tell my clients, instead of going to a million different networking events where you're meeting all of these people and you're meeting them for a very short amount of time and not really building these established relationships.
Finding out how big their garden spot in their backyard is. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. It's like focus on 2 and really show up repeatedly over and over and over again. Show up and get to know the people who are in those organizations, and you'll find a greater return on your investment than just going out and having 100 different networking events and meeting all of these different people and just grabbing business cards. So that's what I try to do as well.
I'm going to bring Steve into this. Steve.
That's okay. I actually have to hop off because I do have a client call.
Thank you, Rita.
I just want to say hi.
Bye for now. Steve, tell me what are your uses for Blab, and what you got any plans on doing anything yourself on here?
Yeah, actually, that's what I was gonna. It was kind of a 2-point question. I'm on here basically. I heard about it on Udemy, and I was like, okay, I got to check this out and see what it's all about. And it's awesome. Like, I love the fact that like right now, this kind of interaction and stuff like that I love it.
But there's questions that are posed because you're on camera. I've got to know who's number 83.
Oh, that was Jeff. That's a Notre Dame jersey. That's Jeff Samardzija.
Okay.
He was a Cubs pitcher, then he was a White Sox pitcher. But I have it up there. My son's a big sports freak, and Jeff Samardzija is from my town here in Valparaiso, Indiana.
So, Steve, have you got some plans on doing your own main blabs and talking about stuff?
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say, too, because I think you could get a lot of traction on here as far as, like, what I do. I'm in the, like, self-help stuff, but I do, like, brainwave subliminals and stuff like that. And a lot of people have a lot of questions about it, so I think, like, being on here and maybe like scheduling some blabs that kind of relate to that topic, so people are a little less what do I want to say? A little less, not scared, but just they have a lot, like, it's a kind of mystery to them sometimes.
Right.
Steve, you have a website address yourself on for what you do?
Not yet. I'm getting. That's the question. That's actually why I hopped in here. I was going to ask you guys. I wanted to do, I think, like a blog kind of, thing.
Yeah.
Let me make it real easy for you. Okay. This will give you the ability to have the same shingle that I use. About.me.
Well, I
go to that site, about.me, and then you can set up your own profile. You can have a pretty picture, put in the blah blah, link to other sites, etc.
Oh, really?
Cost you a penny.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's free. It's what I have on my profile. If you click on my name,
what I do, Steve, because a lot of people in the UK, there's some sites where you can go and sign up with them, and they give you a free website. Problem with them is getting indexed in Google.
Right.
What I say to people is go to a domain host, GoDaddy, or any of the ones that you can find. Buy your own domain name and own it yourself. That's the first thing I say.
Okay.
Then you've got two choices. You can divert it to another site that's giving you free space, or you get your own little bit of web space. And I use WordPress sites. And what I do is I go on, I find a theme I like, I put it on, and there are a bunch of tools in the background of WordPress which make life easy. I'm just in the middle of installing one on my site, which will pull in all my videos from YouTube automatically.
Oh wow, that's nice.
Right.
That's nice.
So this video today I'm going to edit down, take all the gaps out and bloopers, and just make it look nice, and then put it on YouTube. And then this software, when it's set up, will just go boom. I'm going to pull it in. And it's the idea of I upload a video and it's on my website. It's the same with Facebook and Twitter. I do exactly the same, with those for people on their sites. You all right, Guy?
Greg, let me interrupt you. In the chat, Rita has put in a great little text thing about uses for Blab. Blab conversations, speed networking, speed dating. I never thought about that.
I never have either.
Regular networking, teaching a class or skill, or just having a Blab open so that your customers could come in and say, hey, is it raining out now? Or whatever. and so forth and so on. A great set of ideas. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, but I find with Steve, with WordPress, you control the site yourself.
Right.
And I created a website for my local nursery group where my daughter goes to. And they wanted an easy way of uploading stuff onto their pages without, excuse me, I'm just going to dump that call, I don't know what it is, where things can easily put information up, but they don't understand WordPress. So I put onto their front page a thing where automatically it rolls up any of the information from Facebook. So they put a little thing on Facebook going, had a great time with the kids. We went out to the park and a photo. They put it on Facebook and it rolls it onto the website. And once you've got WordPress in, you search for plugins, Facebook plugins, and link it up to your Facebook account, and it does it for you. And then, of course, with automation, we were talking about automation a moment ago, you have a site that you can then put effing up that goes across all your social media platforms. And by that being automated, that then posts it to Facebook. Facebook posts to your website. So you're doing a minimal amount of work, all from one platform.
Right, more bang for your buck. That's
right. There's no point spending hours.
Right.
I mean, Twitter, now Facebook, now Blab, now this, now Periscope. Now you want to try and make your life as easy as possible. And that's what I love about WordPress. There's so many helpful plugins on your site you can put on. The only advice I give people with WordPress, if you install it, put your own username and password in for an admin account, and remove the admin account, because the main admin account in WordPress is so easily hackable.
Oh, are they still doing that? I think most of the places that set up the WordPress for you, like with Scriptalicious and so forth, no longer allow you to have admin as a user.
No, they don't. If you have your own host and then you install WordPress yourself,
if you do it yourself,
then it installs the admin and password.
Yeah, that would happen.
So if you install it, change that straight. Normally there's an option when you're installing it to actually change it yourself. Never use admin and never use password, because the moment you install it, someone's in and hacking your site. And another site I use is MainWP. They have a whole lot of plugins for WordPress. If you've got multiple sites like I have, what MainWP does is it has a console on one domain name, which you can go into and update all the other plugins and stuff, and that's quite useful to have. So to answer your question, you either host it all yourself and run it yourself, and then add the plugins, or you can use many a site where they help you build a website. But then you always have your own domain name and divert it to that other site. Right. Because you won't. Some of these sites don't get indexed on Google. It's a pain. There was. I'm trying to remember some of the sites there was. I think there was one. What's the UK? Can you remember in the UK sites that people can sign up with?
Well, the free ones.
Yeah.
Like Weebly.
Yeah, Weebly and some of those. Webs.com.
I heard good things about Weebly.
They are good, but the problem being, I found with them, I built.
They could be better.
So you build a site on it, and you have one of the, have a .webs address, and the problem. Do you need to get that, Guy?
I gotta go. It's that time of day. Adios. Been fun.
Nice
to meet you, Steve. I followed you on that.
Oh, thank you. I'll follow you back.
Let Guy disappear. I was just saying that you set yourself up a website, and then the problem being, if it's a .webs or .whatever, you're advertising them, right?
Right, exactly.
You own your own domain name, you're advertising you, yeah? So if you look at down here, I've got smartblogger.co.uk there at the moment while I revamp my radio show site. Okay. That site, I haven't got a lot on it, but it's got a couple of products I recommend at the moment, yeah? Eventually, I'll have the Burntwellyshow domain name down there for all my branding. I prefer that. And the difference is there. I know of radio DJs in the UK that have gone on .webs and they've never been indexed, never. And you search for them on Google, you can't find them. And then the only way to find them is go to their Facebook page, go to the info bit, find the link, click on it and get into it, and it doesn't work.
Right.
So pick a good domain name. I normally say to people, if you're in the USA, go with .com. If you're in the UK, go with both.
I think the free websites as well, they give it to you free to try and catch you, and then their monthly fee when you want to upgrade is a lot more than just a normal.
Yeah, that's a very good point that I think DJ Ease has just said, that you sign up with .webs or one of them, and after a while they increase the amount per month. Unlike you can easily get very cheap hosting out there. And the advantage of having your own hosting is that if something goes wrong with the host, you back up your WordPress site, so you always got a copy. If the host disappears, you set up a new one. You then divert the domain name to the new one. It's fairly instant. It doesn't take very long for the DNS service to update.
Right.
And plus, to be more professional, you can then have your name at yourdomain.com. For the email address.
You get all your email addresses. And that
you get endless amount of bonuses with it. And WordPress is so easy to use. You can either create pages, or the post part is basically you jump in quickly and post a message, and it appears on the front page. So it's very versatile.
Perhaps we could set up a demo, Greg, or something.
If you bear with me, I'll find. This site here is one I've designed. You'll quite like it. Let's come back to my page. Busy Bees Crew Kern is the
It's got my website in there as well.
Yeah,
Greg,
what's yours?
That's WordPress. www.djease.co.uk.
This is another one that's coming up. If you look at Busy Bees, you'll find that their site there. I don't know why yours didn't come in there then. Oh, there it is. Busy Bees, what you'll see there, they've got a Facebook thing on there. Yeah.
Okay.
And that automatically, this is a template from. I'm just trying to remember. Where is it? Not template.
Some templates.
No, it's not them. It's some other name. I can't remember. I have to remember who it is. But there are loads of templates out there that are really, really good. If you give me 2 seconds, I'll hop into WP app.
That one looks pretty good.
Yeah, if you give me a moment, I can tell you who it's from. I'm just going to hop into the theme on the page. Appearance themes, because I always forget the company who I get it from. And
you did their website.
Yeah. Let's go. Where's the theme from? Remind myself. Customize. I always forget in WordPress where to find out. It's going to come up in a second. I'll remember. Not there, is it? Where is it to? Oh. What are they called? I can't remember.
Theme details.
smthemes.com. Sorry. smthemes.com.
Okay.
That might be a copy. I get all my themes from them because they you can get a free version which has the links at the bottom of the page, right? Or you can pay them about $35, $36. And what I initially do is I get the free version, I run it and test it, I make sure we're happy with it and the customer's happy with it, and then I say to somebody, you can buy the thing and not have the links at the bottom. And they're very reasonably priced per site, and you can then pick whatever theme you want, install it, and it has SEO in the background, search engine optimization, and that's really exciting. And then off the back of that, like I said, you automate it all accordingly. We were talking to Rita earlier, and she mentioned Mass Planner, and I know it was also Buffer.com was mentioned for automating all your stuff. I'm going to look at Mass Planner because apparently they also link up with Instagram. So I'm intrigued with this because I like to automate my posts across all my networks. So I put a certain type of wording on Twitter, different type of wording on Facebook, etc., etc. So it's but always I say to everyone, buy your own domain name, even if you redirect it to a site that you build on one of the other platforms. That's fine. But
no, I think I'd rather do it right the first time, and even if I got to spend a little bit more money, I think I'd rather it be on solid ground than farting around with it.
I mean, I say to people as well, when you buy your domain name, buy it for 5 years or 10 years.
Right.
Pay for it once if you can afford to, because on the long term, it means you've got it. Then you don't have to think about renewing it. You have to, I know people have lost websites because they forgot, they've been on holiday, they come back and someone's then bought it. And they either want $2,000 for it, or that's it.
Right.
But 10 years on it, you can buy and forget. Simple as. No one else can grab it then.
Right.
Because there are services that if you pay money, as soon as it comes available, it's bought by someone else. Very good example was Microsoft. Microsoft some years ago, someone managed to buy Microsoft.com, and the guy said his name. I think his real name was Mike something or other, maybe Mike Soft. I don't know. And he put something up on the site, and Microsoft had to take him to court to get the site back because they forgot to renew it. So, buy your own domain name. I mean, in the case of hosting, the cheaper hosting, if you're starting up, buy some cheap hosting, get it built and up on there, and then back up. There's Clone WP in WordPress. It's a plugin that can back up your site and move it to another site, another host provider. Very easy to use. Clone WP is fantastic for that. And I just say to people, buy your own site domain name, buy some web space, even if it's cheap initially, right? $5 a month or something, that's fine. Build the site up, get it how you want it, back it up always, clone it. Then as your site grows, go to a host that can give you the speed and bandwidth that you need. As it grows. Don't stay with the cheap host forever, because eventually what you'll find is you'll get tens of thousands of people coming to your site who want to look at it, and it'll grind to a halt. So that's
what I don't want to do. I want to be like, have it where it's running, and even if you get a spike in people coming to see it, it's not going to screw things up.
I mean, a good example, and there's probably a lot more domain companies out there. UK cheapest in the UK. There's GoDaddy across USA and the UK. Find a company that you know the name of and go with them. That's the other advice I give you, because a good example, you sign up with GoDaddy, send them a little support question and see how long they take to get back to you. And if they take a day, don't go with them. If they're back with you within an hour, then you can say, actually, I trust them because they're replying back fairly quickly. And that's what you want. If your site goes down, you need to be able to email them and they go, bang, you're back on.
Or some have a live chat on their site, don't
yeah,
they?
Yeah,
Is,
live chat good. Again, yeah. You want the best support. And I test every company like this. I'll phone their tech support lines, and I'll see how quickly they answer. If they take 3 hours to answer, I ain't going to buy from them.
Right.
If they answer their phone within 10 minutes, I'm happy. Yeah. And it's all this is all the same sort of example with your website stuff. Buy a website, use WordPress. I love WordPress as well. You go on YouTube. You've got a question about WordPress, type it in YouTube. Someone will have the answer on YouTube for you.
Right.
Very plain and simple, So it's nice and easy.
My other question I had was as far because I want to do kind of probably like a blog style thing, and I think I feel more comfortable with doing like video, but I didn't know if there's a disadvantage to like a video blog as just a regular, normal, everyday one.
Video works 100 times better.
Okay.
The advice if you're using YouTube, make sure that in the header of the name of the YouTube video. I was given a good tip earlier on about using hashtags. I've changed my subject to best use for Blab, hashtag Blab, hashtag the Burntwellyshow, which is my radio show name, hashtag the best use for Blab. All right. And someone said to me on YouTube, it works the same apparently. So what you can do, you put in the subtitle, in the title at the top. Let's say I was doing this video, I'd put at the very top, best uses for Blab, all right, space, and then I'd put a hashtag Blab, yeah, in the title. The title is a major part, and then the other part is the description, but keywords in your description.
Right.
All right, the tags themselves in YouTube are good to use, but they don't do hardly anything. They're not very useful, the tags at the bottom. I thought tags were, people are searching for something, that tags are going to come. It's not. But in the description, with YouTube as well, if you look up a video, there's a way, I've done it already on a few of my videos, where you can put a box up and it links back to your website. You have to associate your website with Google and YouTube, yeah? And then you can put a little box up saying, come and see my website. And then when you click on that, it then links you back. Not many people do it in YouTube videos, interestingly enough.
Yeah,
because they don't think they can do it.
Right.
But they can. And, so when this Blab goes up, I'm going to put my website up on it and say, click here to see my website. They can click in the video. And it's nice and easy.
So do you recommend me doing the blog video on YouTube and then just linking it back to the blog?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. It's a good way of doing it. There's a plugin I've got. Let me just see if I can still find it. Bear with me, because there's another useful plugin. Let me find my recent tabs and I'll find what it's called. Social Neos is what I'll give you the link to it. I've been using their plugin for posting videos up on some of my sites, and it's a useful little plugin. You don't necessarily have to use. They say use their theme, but you don't always have to use their theme, to be honest. Right. And what it does is you can say look at this YouTube channel and pull in the videos, and it pulls the videos in. Or you can say, pull in videos from wherever. And I own a site called telepranks.com. I'll put it in here as well. And what telepranks.com does is pulls in joke videos from around the world. I've owned the domain name for years and haven't done much with it. But unfortunately, the host I was with went down, so I've only just put the site back up, and I've got to adjust the theme to make it work properly with the videos coming up, because it's not working right yet. But what will happen when it is working right is you'll see the videos like our picture now, and you'll click play and it'll play in there, or you can go to YouTube itself.
Oh, that's cool. All right.
Yeah. So, and they explain it all in their training on how to set it up and stuff. It works very, very well. There may be some other plugins that do exactly the same. So it's worth having a look, to be honest,
Right.
So it's there are hundreds of plugins for WordPress, and I highly recommend WordPress. It's really easy to use, easy to install, and if you get stuck, you look at YouTube.
And I love easy.
Yeah, YouTube as well. Once you've got a good standing with your channel, they allow you to broadcast live to it as well.
That's awesome.
And there are
this right here is just, I think there's so many possibilities, like so many ways to utilize it to like get, draw attention and stuff and people are so helpful on here. I mean, I've only been on here, I think like 8 days or something like that. But the time that I've been on here, people have been like, I've never seen that kind of like help on a social site. I mean, I've seen it, but not to this magnitude, because like people were like just jumping in and helping me, making sure my audio and the video is straight and stuff. So yeah, I love it. I think it's awesome.
I was sitting in on some marketing site, Blabs, and I learned about certain other sites as well, Udemy and stuff like that. And so I've written all these down, and I'm looking into them for other ideas as well.
Yeah, I had 2 pretty decent Udemy courses on how to do Udemy video, training and stuff like that, which is right in my wheelhouse because I'm more video, like visual and stuff like that. And
it works better as well because I did a video course a while ago, and I didn't do much with it, to be honest. I did it for a friend of mine on setting up some website bits and pieces, not to be WordPress. But and I sent it over, and it was very simply me going click here, click there. I used I think it's Camtasia to record, and it all came together really well, and they followed that. Now I'm thinking as well, I'm going to start doing my own video courses, upload them, put a price point of maybe $10-15 on it, and see how it goes. Just as a guideline to make a bit of money, to be honest. And so, with this platform, Blab, I think this is going to be something big. We are the first blabbers, if you think about it.
Right, you're right.
Someone said to me earlier on that they had blab eye, which I love that term. They've been on it so long they got blab eye.
Right.
And so I think we are the pioneers with this. And so that's why I'm glad I'm here at the start, because as I go along and as you go along, people are going to come along and go, Greg Stevens from the Burntwellyshow is back on again. Let's see what he's talking about.
Right, exactly.
And this is what I mean. As you look, we've currently got 3 people, you, me, and someone else watching. Yeah, and if you look at the top there, we had 52 people in and out throughout this Blab, and we've been going a couple of hours now. So it draws people in. And there's so many applications for Blab.
Yeah,
I would like to work out a way, and maybe I'll find someone who can do it, of putting this Blab straight onto my website.
Yeah, I can do that, Greg.
Yeah, you know how to do it.
An iPhone, yeah.
You see.
I really like, too, that they give you the audio and the video. That's nice, too.
Yeah. I mean, and the main thing is, we had someone on earlier who had a few problems with their bandwidth. So, because what it is, the reason you listen, well, if you're only on a 2 meg connection down, right, that's fine because you can listen. But when we're sending video and voice, it's got to go back up the other way. So if your internet connection is poor, it's not going to work, But it's an exciting platform. It really is, and I think we are blessed to be here at the start of it. And I think this is going to grow and grow and grow, and the people who are at the start will be the well-known ones, And then people, in a couple of years' time, people will be jumping on this and going, "Oh, I'm going to try and do it." But by then, certain people who are here at the start are going to have, these are the channels that are now known. And it'd been far more difficult. I learned this earlier on with some other sites. Facebook, a good example. When Facebook first came out, whatever. And I wish I'd been there at the start, because I know people have made millions out of Facebook. And I think Blab could be a very similar idea. People following, someone said the other day with my Blabs that they can see companies approaching me, asking me to promote their products, maybe when my name is right now. Saying sponsored by somebody, maybe. I don't know.
Right. Yep.
It can happen. I mean, at the moment, I'm not in it for the money. I'm in it just for to learn, have a bit of fun, talk to other people, share information, and give.
And I think that's where it starts. I think that's where it starts. Is just the openness with it, the open interaction. And I've watched probably about 5 different blabs just on like social media and stuff like that. And I'm thinking to myself, this is awesome, because not only do you get to hear the information, you can ask a question or just give your advice or your input, and the back and forth. I think it's tremendous. It's awesome.
Have you worked out, Steve, that what you see yourself is a mirror image?
Yeah. It took a little. It took a little time.
Point at me, all right, and what they do is they go like that. Right, which is really the other way.
You got to go like that.
Yeah, so I have to point the opposite way on my screen to point at you, and the same in the corner. So because I sussed it out when I installed Manycam, which is what this titling is.
Yeah, I have that too.
And when I looked at it as back to front, I went, oh hello, my picture is back to front on me.
Right.
The thing is, if you use a program to reverse your camera, then it's back to front to the other person. So you might as well stay back to front to yourself. But it's quite intriguing, when they point at me and they do that. I go, you're over there. No, you're not.
All right, I gotta jump off here, Greg. But I'm
going to wind up this blab anyway. I've already followed you, so
I will do the same.
Keep in touch. If you are blabbing, let me know, and I'll happily promote your blabs as well.
You're awesome, and I appreciate it so much.
Thank you, Steve, and we'll look forward to seeing you in other blabs.
All right.
Bye for now.
Yep, take care.
Bye. So I'm going to wind up this blab now about best uses for Blab, and if you search for the Burntwellyshow on YouTube, I'll do a link through there, and also smartblogger.co.uk. I'll put a link on there to the video once it's up on YouTube. Thank you everyone for tuning in. 53 people, fantastic, and everyone who's put into this blab, amazing. And thank you very much, and I'll be blabbing again soon. Bye for now.